Good afternoon, conference, and yes, you can see from that little video that I have been enjoying myself in the Scottish Parliament. Now I'm free to say what I really think about things. So I often get asked, what is the point of Alba when we have the SNP? But for all of us, that is a very easily answered question because we know that independence is an urgent priority for a better Scotland. We understand that the SNP is no longer trusted to deliver it, and we recognise that independence requires action to inspire Scotland, and we sense that it's time for bigger ideas with substance, not sound bites. And we realise that if our best days are ahead of us, then we need deeds, not just more words. And when I look at Scotland, I see opportunities. We're a land of potential. We can provide the energy security that Europe vitally needs, and solving the energy crisis is within our gift. Scotland has fossil fuels, but also an abundance of renewables, yet both governments are lacking the ambition and the insight to capitalise on that potential for our people. And rather than penalising our rural populations by banning log burners, we should be listening to our communities to understand what's right for them, and then double down and invest in the best energy infrastructure for each community. Every home should have sustainable electricity from a suite of different solutions, from solar panels, district heating, community-owned wind turbines, and this must be at all levels. The Scottish people must finally have a stake in our energy security. Our national energy company should be up and running, providing unlimited electricity for a fixed monthly fee, just as we do with our water. No one dehydrates in Scotland because they don't have enough fresh water. So let it be our vision that no one freezes in a country so vastly abundant with energy. With vision, we can transition from gas and oil. With vision, we can look for new, sustainable ways to power and heat our homes. We don't engage a struggling population with things like bans and fines and mere mitigations. We need that vision. We need investment. And we won't need cold day payments if we don't have any cold homes. Since we know our school kids suffer the consequences of poverty, can it be right that we do not have universal free school meals? If India and Brazil can provide free school meals to all children, why can't Scotland? If the answer is hungry children, I think we're getting the question wrong. Legislators and the government must stop devolving these decisions and responsibility to these lobby groups. They must step up for our public with responsibility and accountability. Schools and child services must put safeguarding and age-appropriate support at their hearts and protect them from this ideological mission creep. Scotland has a great history of elegant simplicity and a commitment to equality. The people in this party removed tolls from bridges, scrapped prescription charges and removed tuition costs for university education. The answer to most problems is seldom more processes, more hurdles or more quangos. The answer is often less, but better. Alex once said, "The dream shall never die." But conference, I am saying to you, it's time that Scotland dreams more and dreams bigger. I, like you, am confident that our country's future is in being an independent nation. And under Hamza Yousaf, Scotland briefly had an independence minister. But what did he achieve? Thousands of pages of paper from the government, nothing in there to inspire any of us, nothing in there to unleash the bottled up hope of the mothballed Yes campaign from 2014, this paltry output, it's disconnected and it's disrespectful to a grassroots independent movement of educators and innovators. Now, if I can turn to another report, but one of substance and clarity, full of evidence and data, words in it that say a lot. Dr. Hilary Cass and her academic research team produced the most comprehensive review of gender identity care for children and young people anywhere in the world, centering on child safety and quality care as a priority. And I spoke in committee to Dr. Cass, and I now propose that we review all legislation and policy relating to children and young people against a Cass compliance standard. There's no excuse for inaction. Now we know better, we must do better. Conference, the weekend after Easter recess, I stood watching in disbelief. A government minister had appeared on national television suggesting that the work of Dr. Cass was somehow not valid, that science should be cast aside to appease the feelings of his friends, prioritising ideology over independence. But friends, I could not let that go unchallenged, so I stepped up. I lodged a vote of no confidence in Patrick Harvey for conduct that I felt fell far short of the expectation that we should have in a government minister. MSPs who quietly indicated their support to me cautioned their leadership. Votes of no confidence were then lodged by the Conservatives on the First Minister and Labour on the government. And with the SNP leadership in a tailspin, they catapulted the Greens out of government. I raised the motion of no confidence in Patrick Harvey, and within days, the Greens were out of government. So it's not just the quantity of your power, but what you do with it. Never underestimate how powerful Alba is in that parliament, and never underestimate the change that we can make there. I stood up for the principle of competent government, and within days, the First Minister needed Alba to survive. I offered an open door to Hamza on independence and protection of rights of women and children in order for him to take the time to stabilise his government, leaving leadership decisions to the party members, as it should be. But conference, the SNP sacrificed their First Minister to crawl back to the Greens to avoid facing our open door. And with a Butte House backdoor deal replacing Hamza, it was then very clear that the government would survive a vote of no confidence, because the Greens had shown that their only red lines were power and ideology. We've got incredible talent in our party. We are feared by our opponents, more by the day, and we are increasingly respected by the media and by the public. We've all seen Alex Salmond raising Alba's profile across the media channels lately. So when Hamza needed me to save his position, I told Alex I would try to land the deal, and I needed him to handle the London media. Well, conference, I gave Alex a metaphorical media tatty scone, and he skillfully turned it into a full Scottish, generating headlines as only he can. From our party's inception, Tasmina has chaired this party with professionalism, building the foundations on which we now stand. Kenny has never shied away from the difficult and principled battles that we face for a better Scotland. He's led the charge on Grangemouth, highlighting the ridiculousness of being an oil-producing nation without a refining capacity. And Neil holds the Westminster government to account at a level I feel that is comparable to the entire SNP front bench team. our national executive have over-delivered in building a Westminster general election campaign exceeding all of our expectations. We've a network of staffers now across both parliaments who are working hard every day to ensure that our constituents that we represent and those further afield who share our values are never ever silenced. Our voices echo in the chambers of power. And conference, most importantly, with you, our members, that is a real power for change that we must unleash. Active Alba. When the SNP veered away from their core mission of independence and put ideology above public priorities, it traded the public's trust for performative points, and that self-inflicted harm has become a fatal wound. And once you lose trust, it's a long, long road back. The independence movement needs a party that harnesses collective talent with open doors. It needs a party that stands firm on its principles with independence as our North Star. The movement needs a party unafraid to confront complex problems with innovative solutions. And it needs a party who gets stuck in and doubles down on Scotland's values when things get tough. And conference, that party is us. That party is Alba. The Alba Party will not let the flames of hope, nurtured for 10 years by a grassroots movement, to burn out. Independence is needed now more than ever, but it's time for politics to deliver for Scotland. So let's relight that flame right across the country. Thank you.
Well done.